All right, well, we have Ann Mundell Noel here from Amazing Hearing, and I had a great time in her office and learned so much. Welcome.
Thank you. It was fun to have you.
I think it's great because I think the first time that I actually went and visited you was kind of a trial for me, and I hadn't had my hearing checked in, I don't know, forever, right? What did we say? Grade school, right? Because that's probably the last time you ever checked, right? Unless something was wrong. And it is so different now. I mean, it really is different. So but before we get into my visit, let's talk about the hearing in general, because I know you like to let everybody know just sort of how it works.
Sure. So when we test hearing, what we're doing is we're really testing the physical portion of what's going to go into the brain.
Okay.
So the sound will go down the ear canal. It'll cross those three little bones.
Yeah.
It'll go into the inner ear where it makes an electrical impulse, and then the impulse is sent to the brain. So what happens is we're looking at the ear canal when you come in for a test to make sure that there's no wax, there's no obstacle blocking it.
Right.
And then we'll check the three little bones and the middle ear to make sure that there's no fluid behind the eardrum. And then we'll check the inner ear when we do the hearing test.
So when you look through the ear, how far in are you actually seeing?
So we're seeing all the way to where it says tympanic membrane. We're seeing all the way up to the eardrum.
Oh, that's
and
the
then
eardrum.
we're testing the middle section and the inner section. And then what happens is the sound from the left ear goes to the right side of our brain, and the sound from the right ear goes to the left side of our brain. And then the two sides tell each other what's happening in real time.
Okay.
So it's an amazing system. But the big thing is just remembering the whole idea is that we're checking to see how much information can go from here up to here.
Right.
And then it's up to the brain to do the processing.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about what it would be like if someone was to visit your office for the first time. I mean, that's pretty much what we did, and we went through the process.
Right.
So tell me just sort of what to expect as we go through, and we'll show some of the footage that we took.
Sure. So when you come into the office, we will have you fill out some forms, get a little case history on you, and then we will start with the hearing test. And I will ask you some medical questions first. I think with the information that we're showing right now, what you're seeing is Lisa walking into the office and kind of getting oriented to what's happening.
Right.
I take you back.
Right.
And the first thing we did here is we had her sit down and check her ears for wax.
Well, and that was so bizarre, actually, because that water, I was not expecting it. And it's very unusual because I don't think I had any wax at the time, but to check is really crazy.
Yeah, so I was checking your ears for wax, making sure that I couldn't see any. You wanted to experience
I did. And
just
look at
disclaimer, Lisa did not have any wax.
I did not have any wax, but this bizarre, it was not harmful. It didn't hurt or anything. It just
sounds weird.
It's a weird sensation for
sure. A lot of people love it because it feels like an ear jacuzzi. So if you have wax that's down deep in your ears, it gets that itching out.
Oh, yeah.
I do have to say, as an audiologist, we are licensed to be able to remove wax for the purpose of hearing testing and fitting a hearing aid.
Okay.
We do not remove wax for general patients.
Got it.
So you have to go to the urgent care or the ENT. But if you come in and it's an obstacle for a hearing test or fitting the hearing aid, that's when we can go ahead and remove it.
Okay.
So a hearing aid dispenser is not licensed. An audiologist in the state of California is. So we don't have to send you away. We can take care of the problem right there.
Okay, and now you take us back to your office, and you run us through the different testing.
Yep, so here we are doing the testing, and you can see that you are sitting behind some sound panels, but you don't have to go back into that scary booth. So by sitting in the chair right there, I can do all the testing. It's very natural, it's comfortable, it's all calibrated, but the nice thing is that you're not moving up and down. So patients who are limited in mobility, we can put a wheelchair in, we can do those things and move around. So it's very easy to perform the testing.
And then obviously we were showing the little buttons, and you have to press the button every time you hear. So I mean, it's pretty similar to what you've done in the past. It's just so much more advanced. And I know that we did show, I mean, this is kind of the results page that you go over with everybody. But what was really interesting is that, you know, what you're hearing obviously is sounds, but then there's also another hearing test where you talk about, you have to say words that you hear. And so you had mentioned that some people don't hear correctly words.
Right. So
sounds.
So when you have a hearing loss, we're looking for what is the minimum level of sound you can hear the words. Then we're looking at a normal conversational level. Is the brain, if it has a hearing loss, it's not getting that full input to the brain, and so are you really getting all the sounds? So if I'm saying me and you're hearing knee, I'm saying fish and you're hearing dish, that's where the confusion comes, because the brain doesn't have all the sound it needs. And so you're just giving quick one words. There's no sentence structure or semantics to kind of put the meaning together. And then we can see how well you're comprehending. But then we also do a more sophisticated test because we test you in noise. Remember, the background noise gets louder and louder.
That's right.
And then we see how does the brain filter the background noise. So that is a test that's more sophisticated that most offices don't perform, but being best practices for audiology, we do.
Okay, excellent. Now, if somebody, and if somebody was needing a hearing aid, we ran through what it would be like to get a custom hearing aid. And I have my little mold right here, which was such a trip because I've never been, had this done before, and it's like a little mold, and we're showing some of the hearing aids here now, but this little mold is just a bizarre thing. So what they do is she puts some, like, what is it? Tell me.
First a cotton block.
Yeah.
And then we put silicone impression material in your ear.
Okay.
And here I am taking the impression of Lisa's ear. So you put the cotton block in to make sure that you don't hit the eardrum, that you have something to hit against, which is what you have there.
And that's
then
silicone.
we fill it up. And that's silicone on one side and an accelerator on the other, so that when they mix together, it will harden. And it takes about, 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was really quick.
Yep. And then it's a nice sound plug, isn't it? You were
really
muffled.
I want to have like custom ones for when I sleep.
They will never sound that deep or that tight, that muffled, because it's so deep. I'm sorry, but you get the general idea.
But you know what? One thing you did tell me is that you can have custom earplugs made.
You sure can.
That's
Sleep
great.
plugs, swim plugs, all kinds of plugs. And they are getting so soft and such great material.
Absolutely. Now, of course, if someone does need a hearing aid, you have a plethora of hearing aids to choose from.
We do.
Not only in your office, but also you have like a little store out front where you can see
display
different kinds of like a display, and you have other little tchotchke things and fun stuff there. So it's great. I mean, you're a one-stop shop. You've got everything you need. I think it's great.
Yeah, we're trying to be the place for hearing. So whether or not you are somebody young who wants noise protection or a hunter's protection or custom earplugs, we do things for musicians, or as you start to transition into maybe needing a hearing aid or some assistive devices, we have TV, phones, all kinds of things. We work with the state of California for the CTAP program, so we can get free phones for patients who want them, and then moving all the way into the hearing aids and testing, getting you ready for cochlear implant or pushing you towards that if that's the direction you need to go. We make those referrals. Yeah, lots of different choices. So thank you for coming in, and thank you for hosting us. Thanks for coming in. If you ever need any hearing help, you know where to go. Thank you so much. Okay. And of course, if you want more information about Amazing Hearing, you can always go to their website, which is amazinghearing.net, or you can give them a call at the number on your screen. And so go get your hearing checked. We'll be right back.